Welcome back everybody. In this video we are going to take a look at a new data structure type, a map object, which was introduced in ECMS 6 specification. Now what is a map object? Well, first of all, it's a key value pair which holds the data. Now what is the difference between a regular object and a map object? Now I'm going to read a description from Mozilla Developer Networks which will help us to understand what is the difference actually. So regular objects are similar to maps in both which let you set keys to values, retrieve those values, delete keys, and detect whether something is stored at a key. Because of this, there were no built-in alternative. So objects have been used as maps historically. However, there are important differences between objects and maps. So the first difference is that the key of an object are strings and symbols, where there can be any value for a map, including functions, objects, and any primitive data type. You can get the size of a map with the size property, while the number of properties in object must be determined manually. A map is an iterable and can thus be directly iterated, whereas iterating over an object requires obtaining its keys in some fashion and iterating over them. An object has a prototype, so there are default keys in a map that could collide with the keys you define, and if you're not careful. So a map may perform better in these scenarios. Additionally, you can add values and remove values by using some methods as well. So we will go to Mozilla Developer Network and we'll take a look at the documentation for a second, and then we'll try to understand a bit more. So I'm here in the Mozilla Developer Network, and here we will go up and we can first of all see we have some properties. So the map.prototype.size, which gives us the size of a map, and we have some methods. So we want to delete, we can use this delete method. We want to have entries, we can use the for each loop. We can get, has, key, sets, values. Let's take a look at the demo as well. So I'm going to move this here, and now we are going to create a map object in a second. So we'll just go to 1 second, guys. All right, so here I want to create a map object, and I'll just console.log. Now first of all, to create a map object is just simply, let's just say person is equal to a new map, right? We created a map object. So now how do we set the values, or how do we store the values in that person map object? Well, you can do that by person.set and then a key and a value. And now here we can say name, and then a value is like, let's just say my name Oais. Let's save the file and let's just get console.log, and we'll just print out a person, right? Let's save the file, refresh the browser, and here we have a map, right? I'm going to just expand this. So here we have the size, which is set to 1 because we have only one value, and then we have entries, which is basically an array. So here we have an entry on 0 index, which has a key as a name and a value as Oais. Now if I change this name to, for example, a function, which is basically print, all right, and I would say, okay, in that function, I'll just say console.log, and I'll just say, hey. I'm going to save it. Let's just refresh the browser, and here we can see within that key is a function now. So if you try to add a key as a function in a regular object, it's going to give you an error. So we can see we can have a function as a key of any primitive data, arrays, or symbols as well. So I'm just going to remove this. So that's one difference that we talked about, that we can have functions, arrays, or any primitive data. Right, so here we can have a multiple values. So I'm just going to copy and paste. I'm just going to refresh the browser, and here we can see we have Oais. I'm going to save it actually and refresh the browser now, and here we can see it still has a 1. Well, maybe we're not reloading it. No, we're not reloading it. I'm going to save it again, and I'm gonna say, okay, let's refresh again. All right, so did you notice that we added few things here, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 name with the keys and values, but it's not even showing them here. So it's getting rid of the duplicates. So here, if I just change the name 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm gonna save this, refresh the browser, and now we get map 6. So basically, it actually very smart to actually having a duplicate values and just ignore them, right? So here we have a name 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 now. Now, this is how you create a map. Now, how do we grab the values from a map? So we can use in a regular object a dot notation, but how do we use it here? So if I just say, okay, person dot a name, and I'll just want to grab that. I'll save the file and refresh the browser. That will be undefined, as you can see. It doesn't know what we're talking about. What does the name means, right? No, we can't use that. So we need to use a method called get. And then we want to pass in the key. So I'll just say name. Save the file and refresh the browser, and it gives me back the value, Awais. If I say, okay, give me a name 1, save the file and refresh the browser, it gives me Awais again, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, now it should make sense. Let's refresh. Now we have Awais 1. Now we can grab the values by using a get method. We can set the values using a set methods. Now we want to check whether this value is available or not. So here we can check as well. So if I say, okay, console.log, and I'll say person.has, and I can say, okay, does it have this key, name 3? Save the file, refresh the browser, and that gives us true, because name 3 is there as well. So if I just say name 7 as in a key, I'm going to save the file and refresh the browser. Now it gives us false because name 7 is not available in our person map object. I'm going to delete that. Now we can see we have a has, which can check whether this value or this key is available or not. Now we can see we can grab the keys and we can grab the values as well. So we know how we grab the value, but now we are going to use this, something like this. Okay, so I want to grab person.key, right? And then I'm going to say, okay, let's just say do this, and then I'm going to save the file and just refresh the browser. And now if I call this keys method, it gives us all the keys in an array. It actually removing all the values, not carrying about, but it just grabs us only the keys. So similar to keys, I can use the values method as well. So if we say, get me all the values available in this map object, I'm going to refresh the browser, and now this time we get all the values instead of keys. Now let's take a look at how we can iterate over a map object. So I'm just going to use the person.forEach, and I'm going to pass in another function here, and here I will call, let's just say, person, right? Then we'll just say console.log and just log a person. Save the file and just go refresh, and here we have all the values. Now let's take a look at how we can add key value pairs in our person or map object, right, being in a constructor function. So I'm just going to remove this person.set. Let's remove the loop as well. And now here I am going to go, okay, let's add something. For example, if I want to add an object, Awais, so I'll just say, okay, I want to add array, and then here I have Awais, right? And the next line will have, let's just say another, and here I will pass in, let's just say new date, and the value would be, let's just say today. All right, and then we can save this, and let's just refresh the browser. But before that, we need to console.log person object so we can see the results for that. Save the file, refresh the browser, and here we have an array which has like values. So we have keys, Awais 29 programmer playing games, and then also we have a date object, and the value for that is today. Right, so you can just write you can add your data to a map object, right, being in a constructor function as well. So it's basically an arrays of arrays. So you have one array, and then inside that you add multiple arrays. Right, so that was a data structure introduced in ECMS 6, which is a map object. And in the next video, we're gonna take a look at sets.